Today I'm going to show you how you can use TrueROAS to increase your profit margins in the first 1 to 7 days and how to stop wasting so much money on ads and just make it pure profits instead. Step 2 will be to learn from the data that you have how you can create new ads and learn new things about what's creating sales so that you can scale higher. And the last bonus will be the special settings in order to maximize the ROI you can get. My name is Rasmus. I'm the founder of TrueROAS and creator of the TrueROAS attribution algorithm. I built this because I was tired of fake conversions tricking me into losing sales and basically killing my winning ads and wasting a bunch of ad spend. We currently track over 100 million with around 1,000 stores. And this gives me a very unique God view into what's going on because I have to look at all this backend data. So I view things that not a lot of people in the world view. The next step now is we're gonna jump into the dashboard and have a little look. So let's have a little look here, and we're gonna start off by looking at the metric that is really important to me because it made me save a lot of money before, and it's actually this MER metric right here. I was running a lot of meta ads and Google ads at the same time, and the more I ran the meta ads, the better the Google ads were performing. Just like you can see here, when you spend more on meta, you're getting more sales on the store just in general, but a lot of them are going to be attributed to Google. That's just kind of how it works. You can also see that exact example in here where you're seeing 85,000 profit here from 106 sales, which is pretty nice, and the spend is only 20,000. So it's pretty good ROI. That doesn't mean that Google is contributing to the whole sale. So that's what you can see down here is that the more that is spent on Meta, this is during Black Month, November, and you can see more and more sales are coming in, the more that is spent on Meta. And then when Black Week is happening, it's starting to go down. You can see Google here, it's just like, it's going down, it's going the other way, but we're getting way more Google ad sales here. You can see all of the sales are going up. So attribution is not that easy, and that's why you need this kind of metrics. And what we have here is something that is really important to just have an overview of the sales just in general from the different channels and how much profit's in there. And what you can do is you can add all of the COGS. If you're a little bit lazy, you can add like a default product cost of like 30% just to get an understanding of what's actually going on. Like how much money are you actually making? And then you can add handling fees, and you can also add a shipping to each order just so that you don't have to think about it. It's just all of the profits showing here. And if you want to dig a little bit deeper, we have all of the metrics overall here. But if you're more interested in how you're doing on Meta, for example, you can dig into the Meta preset dashboard and see, for example, how's the AOV doing during this period? What's the CPA? And like how's the CPM developing over time? That can be really interesting to see actually. But let's get back to it. We got one metric here that's called blended CPA and new CPA. Basically what that is the new customers. We can measure if it's a new customer or if it's a returning customer. And whenever you're running ads, it's very dangerous to scale up something that is not generating new customers. And Meta will always try to target people who are already engaging with you because they're already warm leads, right? And that's why you need to have this metric under control. You need to know how many new customers you're getting. And that's how new CPA here is very helpful. And we're gonna dig a little bit deeper inside the Ads Manager later so that you can see and actually analyze based on this metric. And we also have new Customer ROAS in there. Except for that, we have a lot of different graphs like this. We have over 100 different components, so you can create your own little dashboard for exactly what you need. Basically, you can create your own custom dashboard and share it by the click of a button to anyone. And you can also invite your team if you want to, but you can also share it if you don't want them to have their own account. And soon we're gonna dig into what can actually be done to learn from the data so that you can create better creatives and know what ads are selling which products. But for now, we're gonna go into the one source of truth, the Ads Manager. So the Ads Manager, this is the view where you can see all of your orders, all of your ads, one source of truth in one place. Here you got all your meta campaigns, you can see the ad sets, you can see the ads in there, and you got all of your Google campaigns as well. You have all of the other sources of the sales that you're getting, all of your orders during this time period of November or whatever time period you choose. And you can see exactly which orders are coming from Klaviyo, for example. Here you can see these orders. It's a new customer, here's a returning customer, and so on and so on. And the way that we display the data in here is by showing you our attribution data, but also showing what the ad platforms are reporting so that you can compare and make your own decision. Our job is not to make the decision for you. Our job is to present everything that you need so that you can move with confidence, so that you don't have to have that fear of increasing a budget and just the money going away like that. That's exactly what we're preventing right here. And inside TrueROAS, we have a little system for conversions and assists. Basically, you can have one conversion per order, but multiple assists. So if a Facebook ad gets the conversion, Google Ads can assist to that conversion and other Facebook ads as well. So you can see here, for example, if we dig into this ad right here, have 275 conversions. So that's 275 orders. Can still see exactly which orders, can see exactly how they clicked on the website. Then we also have 120 assists. So actually here, you're seeing that Facebook is over-reporting a little bit and we're under-reporting. However, when you count all the assists, you can see that it's contributing to so much else. So even if 1.8 were the break-even ROAS here with all these assists, it's contributing so much that it would be a risk to turn it off. And that's how you can make sure you're not losing anything by turning ads off. And now that we have seen how the customer journeys work and we understand how to look at conversions and assist, we can start looking at what's really important. Is it a new customer or is it a returning customer? And here you can see that we have NC sales, we have ncROAS, and then we have NC CPA, and all of those stand for new customer. So you can compare like how much are we paying for a new customer and a recurring customer. This is a big difference. So you can see here a lot of new customers were acquired during this period for that ad, and here you can see that the new customer ROAS is 1.9, but you can also go down here and see that the new customer ROAS is 2.8 versus 3. So it's a lot of new customers during this period from the looks of this. So good for them that they're getting a lot of new customers. That's exactly what you want to do with your ads. And then you want to nurture the customers that you already have yourself. And just doing this with looking at the new customer, you can start improving your actual profitability by like 200 to 300%. It sounds really crazy, but just imagine if you get a new customer every time that buys 3 times. That's 3 times your AOV. So if it's like $80, what is that? $240 instead of the normal 80. So basically you 3x. And that's not too uncommon to have someone come back 3 times, you know? And now that we looked at that, we're going to optimize a little bit. So let's dig in and see what we can do here. You can see here inside this campaign and ad set, we have a bunch of different ads. And what I like to look at is the new customer ROAS. You can also look at the actual profits here, but when you're testing stuff that you want to scale, like in this creative testing campaign, you want to make sure that you're looking at the new customer ROAS. You can see what we are reporting here, a 1.6 versus a 226 on Facebook or Meta, which is quite a big difference. And usually that's the difference between having something that's break even and something that is actually making money. And you can see here as well that this ad right here has a 1.7 ncROAS, but in reality it's only 0.9, and it's 1 versus 3 conversions. It's quite a big gap, and you can see it's a big gap everywhere here. And the way that we do the tracking is we just look at the orders. Like I showed you before, you can see all of the orders here that we are referencing, and you cannot do that on Meta. And that's kind of where the tracking sucks a little bit, sadly. So if we want to optimize here, this would be a good one to turn off, I would say, because this one is going to get a lot of spend just because of that. However, this 1.6x that is over-reporting is a little bit dangerous to keep on. Even though it has a lot of assists, I would definitely look into turning this off if it wasn't profitable. I don't know exactly what the break-even ROAS here is, but if we would say it's 1.6, it's definitely gonna make some money because of all these assists. But this one right here with a 1.3x ROAS, this one is having quite a few conversions versus assists, which means that it's not really driving the sale. It's more like helping a little bit. And we are looking at how engaged people are when they click, which means that this one, if you turn this off, something might happen, something might not happen. Definitely not something that's important to the ecosystem compared to this one that has so many conversions and are driving so many sales and not as many assists. And whenever you're turning something off in here, basically what you're doing is you're putting the budget inside the ad set that might come from the campaign. You're putting that inside the rest of the ad. So you're indirectly scaling everything else, which is a great method to just scale something else in here. So I'm sure this one would like more budget the way that it's performing. And yeah, that's about it, how you could look at the data here to optimize. Like I said, we have the ncROAS here. We got the ncCPA, which can be super interesting. Although here it's a lot of new customers, but you're gonna see, depending on how many returning customers you have, that it's gonna be super interesting to look at. Let's move on to how you can create new ads that are performing great based on the data that you already have. And that is why we're here in the creative analysis. In here, you can see all of your ads and sources for sales and how they are doing. So you can see what's performing best and you can see how much you're spending on each one of them. For example, here you got this 28 ads that are getting a spend of 47,000 and 100,000 in true sales, and Meta reported 111,000. You can see the hook rate, pretty low actually. So really good results for that low of hook rate. And you can see even more metrics in here. First off, you can sort by revenue. That's usually where you can find some gold nuggets. Also, sorting by spend is pretty efficient. And one other metric that I just mentioned is the hook rate, which is super important. If you have it this low, between 14%, and you're making money, that's like a golden opportunity, because basically what that's gonna do is it's gonna decrease how many people click your ad. And if more people can click it for the same price, then that's gonna mean more ROAS for you and more sales for you. So you can see here it's already got like a super nice conversion rate from a click, but it doesn't work if people don't click. You're still gonna have to pay a lot. So it's a huge opportunity here to increase the CTR pretty much. And you can see that the CTR here is actually not bad compared to the other ones, but everything's relative. I don't know exactly how this ad looks like, but I'm guessing that they are calling out the right people. So actually it's being shown to the right people. And that is one example of how you can take something from in here. I'm sure when you look at this inside your ad account, you know exactly what you're looking at. And you can see this for pretty much everything, like club your email, how it's doing, how many purchases. And you can just compare what Meta is reporting, what Google is reporting versus TrueROAS. Here you can see the shopping, for example. We're not attributing to the branded campaigns because we know that when somebody Googles your brand, they already heard about you somewhere else, so we don't really need to attribute something there. Next up, we're gonna look at the products that has been sold and how much sales are coming from them. I'm sure you already look at something like this, but also what we can tell you here is where are people actually coming from. And you can view all of the top sources. So here we got 518,000 sales of this one. And in here, we can load all of the different sources and we can see exactly which ads are generating the best for this one. So obviously the evergreen mask here is doing it good for the mask, but it can be really interesting to see if there's some other ad that is actually generating sales for this. It can be quite interesting actually. And this can also help you, like when you're running the ads, to make sure that you hone in on your exact customer for the exact product. Maybe some people like a certain color, you know? It can be super interesting. Next up, we're gonna look at the customer journeys. So basically, whenever somebody buys something in your store, an order is created and a customer journey is saved in our system. And here you can see all of the total performance, the first touch and the last touch, how many orders came from Meta. Here you can see there's a lot of first and last touches from Meta. And you can see all of the sources here, but what's even more interesting is to look at the actual customer journey. So whenever somebody bought the same way as someone else, we group them together. So you can just see like, okay, this is how many times people just bought from clicking a Meta ad, a Google ad. Here's a Google ad and Meta ad. Many times you think that Meta is going to be the first touch and Google will be the last touch. In this scenario, no. And you can go in here and then look at exactly what happened to these orders, and you can see the entire customer journey right here. So we can see like what did they click on, which websites, and so on and so on. It can teach you a lot about how people buy and make you able to scale up Google ads that are actually working. I didn't see exactly which one it was, but it was one campaign inside that Google ad account that you can probably see as a big opportunity because it's driving sales. So that means you can scale it up, depending on how much you spend on it, of course. And next up, we're gonna move into the LTV and look at how you can understand more about how much your customers are worth, so that you can look at how much you wanna spend to acquire a new customer, so that you can actually spend more on ads and be more profitable at the same time. All right, we have arrived inside the customer lifetime value analysis. Here we got the average lifetime value, which means how much is a customer spending during their entire lifetime. The AOV, the total revenue. Like here you can see it's not a lot of difference because this is kind of a new brand. They're doing pretty good so far though. And you can see how big of a chance is it that a customer from Meta is returning versus Google, versus email and Google Organic. So which one of these sources do you want to double down on? So you can see here that the lifetime value for Meta is 84, but it's only 82 for Google ads, even though they return one more time. And that's pretty interesting. You can see how often do they do it. So Meta customers actually come back faster and Google takes a little bit longer time, and then the quantity and so on. But that can basically tell you how to use this new customer CPA, cost per acquisition, and you can start looking at the average lifetime value and see, okay, if I run Meta ads and I acquire a new customer, I can pay 84 for it over 97 days and break even. And that's how you can scale to these huge numbers and make sure that your competitors don't have any space to run ads, because you can just push the ad spend because you know your metrics. The next step we're going to look into is the settings that you can do in order to make sure that you are getting the maximum ROI from TrueROAS. And in order to go to the settings, you can go down here into ad optimization settings. And here you can pretty much choose your attribution model. So we have first touch, last touch, the custom model for your store, and the e-commerce one. So the e-commerce and the custom one is pretty similar. However, the custom one will learn more over time. And if you want something that is stable, choose e-commerce. If you want something that develops over time, but it's gonna change how the attribution is done, choose the custom. So if you want the safest alternative, e-commerce is recommended, yes, because it's better to have something stable so that you can know throughout a longer period what's happening. And that's why people like to use last touch, because it's so stable. But it's also very, very simple, just looking at what happened just before the purchase instead of looking at the customer journey, which is what we have in our database. And here you can also set the attribution window. Here it's set at 7 days. This is a very risky option, and this will basically make sure that you can track more than 7 days back in time. And that may be because of cash flow reasons, that you don't want to wait more than 7 days for someone to buy, then you don't want to run ads. So if you are able to wait 28 days before somebody buys, and you can run an ad 28 days and then you're fine waiting for them to buy 28 days, set it to 28 days. That's what I recommend. Longer than that, then you got to make your calculations. And here you can also remove your Google Ads branded campaigns so that they're not over attributing to those, because if somebody Googles your brand name, they already know about you. That's just logics. And when you send data back to the platforms with TrueROAS, you can set up the enhanced attribution optimization. I recommend keeping this on, and then enable GDPR-friendly attribution. This will affect performance natively, but it's also legal, which is great. I recommend doing that if you're in the EU. It's up to you though. Everybody's looking at this differently, but we recommend it. And then you can set up all of the data send back, which is already done because you already connected here with the app or plugin, already connected the ad account. So all you have to do is configure like one little key here. With Google, you basically just press a button or two and then you're set up. And if you need any help with these kind of things and want to know more like about the custom attribution, you can book a call with us and you can talk to an expert. All right, that's it. That's how you can increase your margin from your ads just by using the data. And you can take the data that we gather and then make decisions and creations like new ads and choosing certain products for your ads in order to create something new that can expand and scale up your ad account as well. And then the last step is basically sending all this back for better optimizations, which is the easy part. Reading the data is never that easy. We try to make it as easy as we can. But if you want to learn more, you can book a call with an expert, like I said, or you can just visit us and start a free trial if you haven't already. Just remember, you start a free trial after you add your card in. So we're not gonna start anything until you actually are set up and properly tracking. So I'm really looking forward to working with you and hope you enjoyed this video. More to come and have a good one. Talk to you soon.